If you just went ahead and picked up the all-new Samsung Fold8, I'm going to go ahead and share with you a handful of amazing features and settings that are disabled by default that allows you to use this device to its full potential in terms of multitasking like a pro. Additionally, some improved security features and much more to get the most out of your device. So of course, timestamps of all the subjects we'll be covering in today's video will be in the description down below for your pleasure. Let's quickly start off with multitasking like a pro. If you have these icons right here for your gesture controls, personal preference, but this one's pretty limited because yes, you can still open up your app switcher just like that. Your home button is this circular one, and then this little arrow is basically your back button. It looks a lot better when you have your device folded as well, but it's very limited in terms of abilities you could do. So to enable the gesture controls instead, go into settings. In the main page, scroll down until you get to display. In the display page, go down until you see navigation bar. In the navigation bar, this is where you can switch between the default buttons or gestures. Gesture is better because this allows you to quickly just swipe up to go to your home menu as you unlock some cool abilities. You see, whenever you launch like another app, you can just use a swipe finger to go back to the previously open app, as well as vice versa. It's pretty cool. And in your app switcher, you just long hold midway and it'll open up the app switcher. Pretty self-explanatory. And then you can close off from here as well. That's why I prefer this gesture controls versus the actual like button ones, and it gives you more screen real estate space too. But the cool thing about the Fold8 is that you could easily utilize its entire display by enabling multitask abilities. You see, by default, whenever you're on Google as an example and you like to open up another app, you can just slide your finger up, this little menu will pop up, and then you can just click and drag to the location of the screen. Or if you want to be a 50-50 split or a right or left side split, you can just click and drag the app and drop it down like so, and it'll open up app switcher. And a cool exclusive feature about the Fold8 is you can have another app running at the same time as you have like other sections of the screen to drop it in, and then you can just drop it in like so, getting like a nice even 50-50 split between 3 different apps. It's pretty awesome and epic you could do this. But if you run into an app that doesn't support this, there's a setting you need to manually enable to unlock it. Go into settings and then go into advanced features. In here, go into lab, then enabled multi-window for all apps. So if you run into an app that doesn't support it, this will override it and allow it to be supported. So definitely recommend enabling this. But as you hop back to like the split screen view as an example, another cool thing is if you like to work like this, like have a YouTube video on the side over here and a website over here, you can also change the orientation as well by tapping the little center bar, as well as you want it to be on top or bottom. This is perfect whenever you're watching like a YouTube video on top as an example. You could just read articles down here while watching a video. If this is a setup you see yourself using a lot, you could tap these dots right here and tap the star icon, and you can save it on the home screen. Now you'll notice those 2 pair apps are now saved, and you can still click and drag it to like rearrange it to a personal preference. But now as you're doing something else, like maybe browsing the Play Store, but then you want to go back to your workspace, you could click on that save icon. It will relaunch those 2 apps together at once. Really awesome, very powerful. And then real quick folks, if you've been finding this video informative and useful so far, like to support the channel, if you can kindly take 2 seconds, hit that like button, that really does help out the channel, as that allows the channel to be powered by you guys, the viewers, which is why I don't see brand sponsorship segments in my videos taking like a minute or 2 off your time. Thanks to you guys, we don't have to rely on brand, and yes, I like to buy everything out of pocket, including this phone. So thanks to you guys, we have the freedom to not have a brand watch over us and tell us what to say in our videos, all because you guys hit that like button and That's why you don't see VPN sponsorship segments taking like a minute or 2 off your time. So thanks to you guys, we don't have to deal with brands, and also gives everybody else a nice viewing experience when it comes to watching my videos. So thank you so much for those that took the time on supporting the channel by hitting that like button. Really does help out a lot. Let's carry on. But now let's say, for example, you like the passport size, but you have small fingers. Maybe you're having a hard time reaching like certain areas on the screen. There's a one-hand use mode you can enable where you don't need 2 fingers on the screen. Everything will be within thumb's reach. To enable this feature, go into your Samsung settings. In the main page, go back into the advanced features tab and look for something that says enable one hand mode. Here it is, one hand mode. Enable this, and now Notice there says gesture because when you click on this blue gesture, it'll walk you through how that works. So here's a video animation, what you need to do to activate that one hand mode. So simple swipe down from the center will activate it. And you could also rearrange the size to your personal preference. When you activate it next time, it'll stay at that size. So here I could easily one-handed just operate this entire screen. Super useful when it comes to replying to text messages or doing anything else really on your phone. And if you like to change it from right or left side, you can just hit the little arrow key. And to reverse back, just do the same process and it'll go away. So a cool security feature that this phone has is using its built-in sensors like the gyroscope and stuff like that. If the phone detects that somebody snatches it out of your hand in place, it will automatically lock the display, making it difficult for somebody to steal your information and such. So to enable this unique feature and make sure your device has it enabled in the first place, go back into your device settings. So on this main page, scroll down and go into security and privacy. In here, go into lost device protection. Select this, and where it says theft protection, this is where you go in and make sure that's enabled, and it will utilize its internal sensors, gyroscope and stuff like that. If you notice like a rough snatch out of your hand, it will automatically lock the display. But exiting out of here, another thing I recommend enabling or double checking that you have enabled is to find my mobile. It'll take you to this page. Make sure you have all of this enabled. By having these settings enabled, it will allow the phone to be offline tracked. So even when somebody turns off your phone, you can still track it with the remaining battery life. It will still put out its location. So you can locate it in the Samsung Find app or the website too. So you can track it in case someone does steal your phone. Now the next setting I highly recommend double checking is battery related. For the best longevity, to allow your battery to last as long as you want it to last without having to swap out the battery, because good Lord, that's gonna be fun to do. Go into battery and then go into battery protection. Make sure you have basic enabled. What this basically allows you to do, the phone will monitor your sleeping habits, your charge habits, and will slowly charge the phone up to 100%. So if you wake up constantly around 5 or 8 a.m., the phone will automatically stop at 80% and slowly trickle back up to 100%. So as you wake up, you will have a full charge without having the phone on 100% for a long duration that's not being used, because that typically is what hurts lithium batteries. But by having this enabled, allows the phone to basically charge itself smart, so it doesn't ruin the longevity of your device. Now, since we're still in the setting page, another cool tool I recommend exploring is the Galaxy AI functionality, because the most useful one is probably Call Assist. By having Call Assist enabled, if you go into screen calling, by having screen calling, the live assistant will answer unknown numbers on your behalf and ask them why you're calling. If it's a scammer or spam call, they're just going to instantly hang up, or you could actually see your screen, see if it's something important to pick up or not. So that's what that allows you to do. Another important one is live translation. If somebody's talking to you in a foreign accent or whatever, in real time, Gemini can actually translate the call, so you could go back and reference it. It's kind of cool. Exiting out here, another cool one is call brief. So this will show events or other information during the call. So as an example, if the caller is talking about like reservations or what time is reservation for the dinner, your Samsung phone can actually pop up that information on your screen. This way you don't have to look through your phone. So it's basically like an assistant by having the call brief enabled. Super awesome. Trust me, it'll change your life. And it's also free to use. So have these features enabled, it's a no-brainer, especially this one for spam callers. Now, if for whatever said reason you lock your device and you notice your always on display is not doing always on display things, double check and make sure that's enabled. Mine was turned off for some reason by default. So in order to turn on the always on display, like from other Samsung devices, in the main setting, it's easier if you just type in AOD and you'll see your always on display settings. This is where you go in and actually enable that functionality. Now back on the full display, another thing I like to go ahead and highlight real quick is the navigation bar, this thing. By default, it'll show your most recent apps. This little icon over here will show all your apps. But if you want it to be fixed instead of being your most recent apps, you can do that. Go back into your settings, go into display to get access to this, and then go down and then tap on Taskbar. And from here, you could decide on disabling the most recent ones, or you could change it so it stores up to 4 apps instead of 3, show your most recent. And if you like it to auto hide, or stay on the screen at all times. By having it like this, regardless of what you're doing, you always will see the taskbar. The con to this is that you will always see it. You won't utilize the full screen real estate space. So personal preference, some people may find this to be nice and better, but another cool thing is if you disable this, it'll be fixed to the apps you selected. So if we go back into Chrome as an example, and you bring that up, it'll be your bars that you have on the bottom over here. So to customize these new bars, it'll be this one. So these ones you gotta click and drag in and add for it to be a part of the permanent taskbar, as you see right there. Personal preference, I like more information, so I like leaving it on. Now, another thing I want to quickly go over is the auto rotation. So regardless of the position you're holding the tablet, it will automatically rotate to your personal preference. You could disable this if you don't like it to do that by going in Control Center and just tap the little auto rotation. And if you don't see this, simply add the pencil icon, and then from here, add Control, and just go ahead and look for portrait was the lock, and then add it, and now you have the ability to enable that auto rotate feature or lock it in position. Additionally, another thing you may want to consider doing is register more fingerprints to your device. This way you can unlock it regardless on the position the screen is in. So like this one, or if it's over here, it'll be my thumb, or if it's down here, it'll be my other thumb. So to add more fingerprints, it's as easy as simply just going back into your device settings, go into security and privacy, and scroll down so you see screen lock with the fingerprints reader and stuff like that. Enter your PIN code, and then just go ahead and register 4 fingerprints. You can only register 4. I recommend the index fingers and your thumbs. And now I'm able to operate this device regardless on the rotation it's on. Now the beauty about the Fold8 is you can utilize this lock page to be a part of the viewfinder. If you like to understand how that works exactly, it's pretty awesome. So let's launch the camera app as an example. And we're going to turn on location. Personal preference, I like having locations on my photos. But whenever you open up the device, right, and the back screen is just a black screen. If you're trying to get like a group photo or something like that, make sure everybody's lined up properly. This little icon right here, if you select this, this will turn on the preview right here on your screen, allowing you to get everybody in the shot, and you'll utilize the best camera right here versus the face call camera right there. So that's what that little tool allows you to do. Another thing you could do is whenever you're capturing photos, you can enable view capture. So as you're taking the photos, you can make sure the subject's in frame and stuff, so you don't have to retake those photos later. That's a cool little feature right there. Additionally, every Samsung phone has a built-in document scanner. When you launch the camera app and you put like a document in front, if you move up as an example, notice how it knows I'm trying to scan a document. You can just select scanner. It'll scan the page and it'll flatten it as if you actually scan it professionally using a printer, which is really awesome. And you do have different filters too to make it seem like it really was scanned from a printer. So if you're trying to copy text or something like that to get really clean and contrast, you can always just use one of these built-in filters right here. And then you can just save, and you have that documented saved automatically on your device. Now the next one is customizing your device. Instead of going in settings, you could just do like a 3-finger pinch, and you have the ability to customize all these pages individually, of course, right? And then of course you could go into themes, where in themes you have the ability to check out some like purchase themes right here if you want to change like your app icons and stuff like that. Samsung gives you the ability to basically customize everything. That's the beauty about Android phones. In addition to that, if you select wallpapers and style, this is where you can change your wallpapers, and color palettes. You can change the color palette throughout the entire UI as well this way. And you have a bunch of different styles to choose from here. It could go based off the wallpaper, or you could customize it to your personal preference, and this will change the UI as you see right here, which is really awesome. Another thing I want to go ahead and share with you is the ability to separate your customization from this screen and this screen. Because by default, whenever you lock your device, it's synchronized. So as you open this page, it'll be the same page, but if you like to separate them this way your changes are different from the lock page and the main page, you could do that. Go into settings, and on this set page, look for home screen in here, and then look for cover smart screening right here. This is where you turn that off. This way your screens are separate. Now when you hit apply and you customize this screen, it's no longer going to correlate to the main page. So you basically will have 2 phones out in one page type of thing. It's kind of cool. And another cool bonus thing I want to go ahead and share with you is the ability to lock apps on your phone. So say for example, you're passing your device to like a kid and you just want them to watch like cartoons on Netflix or something like that as an example, or Disney Plus. So if I launch like Google Chrome as an example, I'm like passing it to somebody. I don't want them to go out of here and just browse through my banking and photos, stuff like that. I could lock that app so it stays on. To enable this security feature, go in security, go into settings. On this page, look for security and privacy. In the security and privacy page, go into more settings right in here and go look for something that says allow apps to be pinned on the screen. Enable this. So now whenever you launch that app, right, and you open up App Switcher, if you go over to the app and you select on the little app icon, you have the ability to pin to screen. Now with the app pinned to screen, if somebody grabs your phone or just you hand it over for them to look at directions or make a phone call, and once they're done, they can't just like snoop around your device. They're pretty much locked here. And to get out of this, you just simply long hold, swipe and long hold, right? And then just enter your Touch ID or PIN code, and now the device is locked. So there you go, now I could escape. So that's how you could like lock them on the app if you have to hand your phone to somebody. Understanding your device battery health. If you purchase it brand new, it's always good to double check and make sure your device isn't defected. You're actually getting 100% battery health. So some tablets, if you go into the control center and you tap on the little gear icon over here, you have the ability to go into your battery tab right here, and then scroll down until you see battery information. Depending on the tablet, but it will show you the battery percentage right here, of the current percentage, as well as your battery capacity. And you may see battery health. Ideally, if you bought it brand new, you'll be at 100%. And if you bought it used, you can verify and make sure there still is life in the built-in battery of your device, because changing this battery will be almost impossible to actually single-handedly do that. So check this to see like basically the mileage of your device. But if your tablet's like mine, it doesn't show me the battery health or anything like that, a clever walk around is to launch the Samsung app, and you're gonna type in members right here, members. You wanna launch this app right here. So when you're at this page, select this little like check mark icon right here. It will allow you to run diagnostics of your device. And you're just gonna follow a series of tests. It allows you to test the like screen brightness and stuff like that. Make sure your phone is actually working properly instead of receiving a defected unit. But if you already ran this test and you'd like to do it again, just select diagnostics, phone diagnostics, and then test all. But once you're done with your test results, this is where you'll be able to go into the battery status, and you'll see good or bad battery life. So ours is good, typically means it's above 90%. So this is indeed a new device. Other than that, there you guys have it. Now you are a pro when it comes to using your Fold8 to its full potential. If you guys like to watch more, maybe like to check out some cool things you could do on the Samsung Galaxy Watch Ultra 2, like this one I'm wearing right now, I cover all the unique features and abilities that watch also has in this video over there. So if you like this video, you'll definitely enjoy this other video if you picked up the Ultra 9. And some of these settings are also available on the Galaxy Watch 9 as well. I think I said Ultra 9, Ultra 2. And those features are also found on the Galaxy Watch 9. There we go. Yeah, definitely check out that video over there. Thank you so much for watching.